Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Level 7 Salamander and I'm here to discuss Pokemon's controversial new game, Scarlet and Violet. Before I begin, I have to disclose that I have finished all the storylines of the game, but I've yet to break into the post-game, so there's a few things I might have missed, but I think for the most part I have a pretty strong understanding of what's going on. So first and foremost, I think one of the best things about this game is that it's open world. It's just a fantastic addition to an already pretty solid formula. Exploring and catching Pokemon is kind of magical. It kind of brings you back to like the days when you felt like you were first discovering everything for the first time. And honestly, it's addicting. You can easily fall into this game for like hours, maybe like tens of hours at a time. And you'll wake up and it'll be like the next day. You'll be like, oh my god, where have I been all this time? Even with these huge changes to the formula, these games still stay true to their roots. The battle system has seen many improvements in this generation that really help mix it up. Terrestrialization is the new generational mechanic that really spices up battles and makes you think differently about the way you play the game. And additionally, many balance changes were made across the board that keep battles more interesting, especially between players. But along with the positive changes to the battle system come a flurry of in-game balance issues. One of the most problematic of these is the level curve of the game. Before you earn even a single gym badge, you are able to catch level 50 Pokemon. And while encountering these powerful Pokemon in the wild is a really cool feature, being able to capture them and trivialize the game detracts from the experience. I believe this can be easily fixed in the next game by adjusting the catch rate formula to scale with the number of gym badges you have. Meanwhile, the gym leaders in the Elite Four are still too easy. They use very few powerful or tricky Pokemon. Gym leaders always terrestrialize the last member of their party into their team's main type. And this is very predictable and easy to deal with most of the time. I felt it was especially unfortunate that each gym leader had a Pokemon of a different type that terrestrialized into their type, because I felt that it would have been much more interesting if they terrestrialized into a type that complemented the rest of their team. For example, if Larry had one of his normal types terrestrialized into a ghost type, he'd be preventing one of his worst weaknesses. One of the biggest balance issues with this game is the non-linearity of it, which is kind of what we've always been asking for, right? But the problem is things don't actually scale off your level. You're actually supposed to do everything in a certain order, but there's no listing of that order. How am I supposed to know which gym to go to first? And you might go do the 6th gym before the 4th gym, and then if you have to go back and do the 4th gym, they're going to be such low level that you won't have any problem doing it. When it comes to the story of this game, I have some nice things to say and some not so nice things to say. I think the characters were fairly compelling and enjoyable this time around. I didn't dislike any of them, and I even became attached to some of them, which is kind of rare for a Pokemon game. Although, I felt at many points of the story that the writers did a poor job of foreshadowing with making the plot points way too obvious. And I want to chop that up to them thinking we're kind of dumb, but I don't even think the children are dumb enough not to figure it out. And I think that really hurt their story. But furthermore, I think the biggest problem with the whole story of this game is that it wasn't voice acted. There were a lot of lines in this game that really needed to be delivered by a human being, and a box of text was just not doing it. Though without a doubt, the biggest source of controversy for these games was the performance. And admittedly, it is kind of unacceptable. It's not game breaking or even game ruining, but it's really frustrating that a AAA company or AAA game came out this way. And admittedly, as you play, it's very uncomfortable to the eyes. People who walk in the room will point out how bad it looks all the time. And it's just really not of a quality I'd expect from Pokemon. I think it is very disappointing. And it is a valid complaint about the game. Do I think it makes the game unplayable or terrible? Absolutely not. But should it happen again? Absolutely not. And finally, one of the most important things to talk about with the new generation is the designs. And I think they're really good. I don't think there was anything that really bothered me about this generation. I generally don't complain about the designs of Pokemon, but I think it was a little bit more solid than some past generations. So, not much to say here, but good job. So my final verdict is kind of along these lines. I think the game is really fun, kind of addicting, and I think Legends Arceus kind of brought all the right things to the Pokemon franchise, and I think this is a huge step in the right direction. And to be clear, I think this game is absolutely incredible if all these shortcomings weren't present. It's pretty rough. Again, especially from a AAA, game that is the largest media franchise in the world. I think these issues should have been solved, and they could have if the game had more development and attention from Nintendo. So yeah, these games were a little bit of a disaster in some ways, but should you skip them outright? I don't really think so. Either way, That's enough from me. I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And please like and subscribe to the video. I really appreciate you guys watching and I want to do more content like this in the future. So stay tuned.